Hi, this session is the third in the series of the Hybrid Instruction Bootcamp that was conducted at Winston-Salem State University by the Center for Innovative and Transformative Instruction. My name is Dr. Antoinette Moore, and I will facilitate this session. This session has 4 learning outcomes that you will be able to fulfill at the end of this session. Number 1, create a rubric, discussion board, and groups. Number 2, demonstrate how to create an assignment using groups. 3, identify how to utilize the Canvas conferences and collaboration tools. And lastly, discuss ideas for using Canvas tools to support hybrid and blended courses. 3 scenarios will be presented to you during this session to assist you with thinking about how to use some of the Canvas tools to support your hybrid blended courses. Scenario 1 is called Break It Down. In this scenario, you will learn how to create a Canvas rubric, discussion board, and a group. The scenario for Break It Down is you as the instructor will provide a face-to-face or synchronous lecture, and you will discuss a topic with a guided discussion. You will post the questions related to that discussion board for the students to engage in small groups. The instructor will create the groups prior to the face-to-face/synchronous lectures. The groups will interact via discussion board to further analyze the topic discussed in the class. I'm in the Canvas course that is associated with the first scenario. We are going to create the rubric first, then the discussion board, and assign students to the groups to complete the assignment. First, to create the rubric, there's actually several ways, but I will demonstrate, I guess maybe the simplest way is to just click on the rubrics link over here on the far left in the menu. From here, select Add a Rubric. If you already have a rubric, or when you create this rubric, the beauty is that you are able to recycle your rubrics and actually modify the rubrics and actually put them in other of your Canvas courses. But first, we will click the Add Rubric button. The first thing that you will see is the title. So here in this box, I'm going to type Food Desert Rubric or Discussion Board 1, because I already have a Food Deserts rubric for group discussion board, which I will show you momentarily. So first you need your title, and then secondly you need your criteria. The criteria is what you are going to actually grade them on. So in this particular box, I'm going to select the pencil, and I am going to type comprehensiveness of content. Click in the box. Next, I can add a long description, but in this case, I'm going to select Update Criterion. Next, I'm going to add another criterion. I'm going to select New. And next, I'm going to type Timeliness and Quantity. And I'm going to select Create Criterion. Next, I'm going to include teamwork, because this is a group project or group discussion. Next, I'm going to select language mechanics. Lastly, I'm going to type citations, references, because that is something that the students are asked to include in their discussion board post. Okay, so here is the criteria that I will use for this particular assignment. And then next, what I'm going to do is we're going to rate the points. So there's two ways of rating. You can either just say, hey, the students will get, let's say, 20 points if that particular criterion is worth 20 points. So we're going to use 100-point scale. So each criterion would be worth 20 points. In this case, I'm going to give each, you're either going to get 20 points or none. So I know this isn't a good example, but this is what we're going to go with here. So 20 points. So I'm going to select the pencil, select 20, and update rating. So I'm going to do this for the next two criteria, so that it equates to 100. All right, so notice here, total points 100. Now, that's one way of doing it. You either give them either the full marks or no marks, but you can also identify the title, and you can give the description of the rating. Now, the way that I normally do it is not this way, but what I do is actually a range. So I'm going to select range here for all of the criteria, or you can mix it up if you wish. But what I like to do is give, I'm going to select the pencil, and I'm going to say the rating is excellent. And then description is going to be what is actually excellent to get either between 18 to 20 points. So the rating score is 18 to 20. So the rating description, I will say fully detailed information. All of the essential questions are answered, and full, thoughtful, and insightful analysis. And in addition to course connections are made to materials from outside the course. So when I am grading this particular criterion for the students in the group that are in the group, if they have satisfied all of the things that is in this box here, then they will get 18 to 20 points. It just depends on what's there. Next, I'm gonna select the plus, and then I'm gonna add my next rating. So the next one is going to be 13 to 17 points. The rating title is going to be good. Good in this particular situation means substantial information, half of the essential questions are answered, also thoughtful, insightful analysis, and clear connections to course materials are noted. And I'm going to select update rating. Next will be the last, because I'm just going to have 3. So the rating is going to be, I believe that should be 12 to 13. Actually, yeah, 12. This one, Unacceptable is the title. My rating description will be superficial or no. Let me type this, superficial or no information given. None of the essential questions are answered. Also, summary or no analysis provided. And lastly, vague or no connections to course materials made. Okay, I'm going to update the rating. We are building this rubric for the first criterion. We have 20 to 17 points is considered excellent, 17 to 12 points is good, 12 less than 12 is unacceptable. Right? So we've added the range, and we've added the title, and we've also provided the description, and notice it equates to 20 points. Okay? Because we started with 20 from the beginning on up to 0. So as you can see, you can build the rubric two ways. Either you just give the points and don't have a range, which I'm going to uncheck here. So here, there's no range. Either you get the points or not. So if I had 50 points, then we could break it down to maybe 50, 40, 30, however you want to do it. But I'm just giving you some ideas on how you can create the rubric. So once you have created the rubric, and I'm not going to go through these other 4 criterion, but just want you to see that this is how you can build it. So when you get to the bottom, you select create rubric, and then your rubric is created. Okay, now what I will do is create a discussion board, and we're going to link the rubric to that discussion board. So next what you will do is select discussions. To get to the discussion boards, click the discussion button. I'm going to call this discussion board Food Desert Rubric for Discussion Board 1. And magical, this appears. In this box, we're going to type the instructions here, and I'm just going to type the sentence, type your instructions here for the discussion board. You can attach any relevant information for the students to use while they are creating their responses. The options for the discussion board are allow threaded replies, which I suggest. I also highly suggest users must post before seeing replies. And this is going to be a graded discussion. The next thing, we're going to add this discussion board to the groups. We're going to assign the groups. So this is a group discussion, and what I'm going to do is select new group category. I'm going to type food desert discussion board, and I'm going to put DB groups. For creating a group, you can allow the students to self-sign up, or you can group the structure. So in this case, I have, let's say, 20 students, and I want to split the students into 4 groups. So that means that there would be 5 students in a group. Now at the present time, this course doesn't contain any students, but let's pretend it did. And so what it will do is create 4 separate groups and put 5 students in each of the groups. I can use that option, or I can split the students into groups with so many students per group, or I can require group members to be in the same section, or I can create the groups later. Another option is the leadership. With the leadership, if you automatically assign a student leader group, you can set the first student to join as the group leader, or you can tell Canvas to randomly select a student as the group leader. So you can determine which way you want Canvas select the first student. I'm going to select Save. The next thing is I'm going to go and provide how many points are possible for this assignment, and in the rubric we said 100. We're going to display this grade as points, and I want to put this assignment in the discussion board, in the category of the discussion board. Next, I don't want to do any peer reviews. I want to assign this discussion board to everyone in the class. You can put the due date and how long it's available from and until if you wish to do that. What I'm going to do is click Save and Publish. When we create the group, you will now receive a notification that you have Food Desert Discussion Board Group 1, 2, and 3, and 4, because I said I wanted to create 4 groups, and if I had 20 students, it would put 5 students in each of the groups. The last thing that we need to do is we need to connect the rubric to the discussion board. So what I'm going to do is select the 3 dots here, and I'm going to select Add Rubric. And because we've already created the rubric, I'm going to select Find a Rubric. Now let's pretend you did not create the rubric. You certainly have an opportunity of creating the rubric here in this page, as we did earlier in this lesson. So I'm going to select Find a Rubric, and I'm looking for the rubric that we created, of course. And when the page opens, it actually displays your courses that you have taught or you have access to. This particular rubric is in this course, WSSU, and I'm going to click Food Desert Rubric for Discussion Board 1. And I'm going to scroll down and select Use this rubric. So now, as you see, here is the rubric that we started crafting, and it's attached now to the discussion board. Now we have completed scenario 1, but what I want to show you is what an actual discussion board would look like along with the rubric. So I'm now back at discussions, and I'm going to show you what a fully fledged discussion board and rubric would look like once you create it. So I'm going to select Break It Down, Food Deserts, and this is the actual Food Desert discussion board with the text, and then there's a picture, questions, and then there are some links that the students can go to for further clarity to help them create their discussion board. So now when I select the 3 dots, I'm going to select Show Rubric, and here is the fully created rubric for this assignment. Now what I will do is show you how to assign the students to the groups. So what you would do is go to People, and up here are tabs for the groups. So we call the group Food Desert DB Group. When you click on that tab, you will see the 4 groups listed here, and this is where you can go and assign the students to groups if you want to manually assign the students. So their names would appear over here, and then what you could do is just add them to the specific groups that you need to add them to. If you need to edit something in the discussion board for a particular group, you can select Edit, and you can put how many members you want to be included in this particular group. I'm going to hit Cancel. You can click on the discussion board for that group, and the students actually would be listed here, whomever they might be. If you want to remove them, you can select the 3 dots and remove, or you can remove as leader. So you would have more options if I had students in this particular case. So this is complete scenario 1. We've created a rubric, we've created a discussion board, and we have assigned students to groups for this food desert discussion board.